Welcome, everyone, to Prop It Up. It's the show where we go over everything, player props, team props, game props, anything you need to increase that bankroll in the prop market. And joining me, as always, my fellow prop masters, Andrew McInnis and Matt Josephs. Got some best bets for you at the end of the show. Got some really good stuff to promote. We're going to jump right into it. Andrew, let's start off with you. You are basking in the glow of the Canadiens, but what is going on in the prop market for NHL? We still have several series going on, which means lots of props. So talk to me about the Canadiens. You got to be proud. And also talk to me about some of the props that you have going on in NHL.
Well, of course, as a fan, I'm super excited. Like you said, I mean, obviously it's a sports betting show. It's a prop show, but I'm definitely excited as a fan. Jumping into the Montreal Canadiens from a prop standpoint, I have to give you some credit because although Toffoli didn't get there with his under yesterday, you have found a great idea with this Montreal Canadiens team. And for someone that's always said the biggest, attribute of this team is the fact that they have so much depth and so much randomness as far as their goal scoring goes. Looking at unders for the Canadiens, I mean, I am not someone that's always looked for unders as far as the props go in the NHL. I felt like I've had a better read on people to score or to get a point or to get lots of shots and not really the other way around. But with the Montreal Canadiens, I think it's a great idea for people to take a look at the unders with them because it's very spread out. If you look at their ice time from line 1 to 4, guys, it's pretty much the same. I mean, the top line player and the fourth line player are playing relatively the same amount of minutes. And I feel like that's really helped them excel. So looking towards unders in those games, I want to say as far as these props, I don't know if it would really be considered a prop right now, but third period overs, if you guys aren't betting these third period overs out there, I recommend jumping on those, especially if you don't want to get that really juicy price to start the third period. You can wait until the first break after like the 4th or 5th minute mark gone in the period, and you can get a great number there. Third period overs are hitting great. And that leads me into a prop that I wanted to mention today on the show, which I'm pretty sure most books now offer, the empty net goal prop. How many empty net goals are we seeing in these games? It is the playoffs. If a team is up 3-1, the opposition will pull their goalie. You're getting plus 170, plus 180 on these. Some games you're seeing 2 empty net goals. It's pretty amazing. But like I said on last week's show, I'm looking at a lot of these defensemen and guys down the depth chart to get these shots, and looking at more so the guys in the top lines to score the goals and get the points strictly because of power play time. And when a team is down or when a team is up, you want your key guys out there to get the job done. So great week of NHL prop betting. Definitely been awesome looking at some points and goal scorers. And my best bet today will be a goal scorer as well.
You mentioned the empty netters, and if there's a 2-goal lead, they're pulling the goalie with 3.5 minutes left. So you're getting a long extended period of time with an empty net there. So really good stuff. Yeah. Tyler Toffoli goes over his total. And of course, when it went to overtime, I just knew it. I was like, oh no, he's at 2 shots on goal. We're going to overtime. Overtime is where the unders die. I have to give a shout out to Blake Wheeler. He did not go over his shots on goal total. That is the only game in the playoffs he did. I need to send him a nice parting gift because he's been a real moneymaker on his shots on goal prop. So still 3 series going on. So there are lots of opportunities for player props. Let's go to Matt Josephs. Matt, let's talk MLB. An absolutely loaded slate today. Tons of games. I imagine you probably had a hard time picking which ones you liked. So talk to us about what's going on in baseball and some things you noticed about today's games.
I mean, I think a lot of the trends are just continuing on in Major League Baseball. The teams that are striking out against lefties are striking out against lefties. I'm starting to find some trends that we've enjoyed. Now, last week on the show, we gave out the Coors Field trend, which unfortunately lost in the last 2 games of the Oakland series. Caprillion and Cole Irvin both went over the number, but still, it was a very impressive trend. Also finding that the Kansas City Royals at home are not striking out a ton. So that's something that you certainly want to look at. Of course, they're on the road right now, but when they do return home, you want to look at some of these strikeout totals because at first I was afraid to take unders because in Major League Baseball, it's all home runs and strikeouts nowadays. But really, the unders present some value. And another team that's got a lot of value that unfortunately I think the books have started to catch up on is the under for the Astros. I mean, the pitchers that have gone up against the Astros, I think, are around 18 or 19% strikeout rate this season. And over a 2-week stretch, they were at 15%. And I hit a couple of unders going against the Astros. I think it was Steven Matz and J.A. Happ, among others. But like tonight, when you see Martin Perez, a guy who doesn't strike out a ton, going up against the Astros, unfortunately, the number was 3.5. And there's a certain threshold. Look, there's a chance that the Astros could only strike out 3 times tonight, but there's a chance that he goes over that number. So I think the books are starting to catch up a little bit. And then, as always, staying away from the high end of the market, the Coles, the Biebers, although tonight I am on the over for Shane Bieber. You look at these guys and they set these numbers so high because they know people see the name and they're like, oh, they're going to strike out a ton. It's funny. Corbin Burns, I think on Sunday, was 7.5. And I'm kicking myself for not taking the over. It looked like a trap. And of course, it went over by a lot because Arizona is striking out a ton. But these books are getting more and more savvier when it comes to these top end guys. So quite often you can find the value in the 3.5, 4.5, 5.5 strikeout guys.
Yeah, Burns just snuck over that. I believe he had 13. Just barely got over that 7.5 number. I noticed the books moved it to 8.5, and some people were like, oh, darn. They moved it to 8.5. No, you didn't have to sweat it. So are you finding that there are certain teams that are just so bad right now that you just have to take it, or have the books figured? I mean, the Diamondbacks are just, they're one of the worst teams, not just this year, but in a while. So are the books getting on to, are they figuring that out?
Yeah, case in point tonight is Chris Bassett, and I went back and forth, and I still haven't decided yet because Chris Bassett, I was so ready for a 5.5 today to fire on the over, and he's been so good to me this season with regards to his strikeout prop. Well, the books put out a 6.5 and heavily juiced the over, actually making it plus 120, plus 125. So it's actually really enticing. I'm kind of waiting to see what the umpires are. If we get a pitcher-friendly umpire at a plus price, it might be worth a look. But I would have said at 5.5 and been ready to fire because I think 6 is a number that we could see tonight. But that 7, it's really a key number, I feel like. So I need to see the umpires. Of course, when you start new series, the umpires don't come out till a couple of hours beforehand. And then once they start the series, you get kind of the rotation so you know earlier. But with the A's and the Diamondbacks playing for the first time, I don't know who the home plate guy is. And if I don't get the right home plate guy tonight, I'm not taking that over. So it's something we're going to look at tonight.
Excellent stuff. That's Matt Josephs at sportsmemo.com giving us everything we need to know about K-props and MLB. I'm going to touch on NBA real quick as we've got the Clippers and Jazz set to take place in their first game of the series. We have the Hawks and the 76ers as well. And what we noticed was that Joel Embiid, apparently when you tear your meniscus, it hurts everybody except Joel Embiid. He played 38 minutes, which absolutely stunned me. I had Ben Simmons over his points, rebounds, and assists, and he came in just short. I figured there would be a lot of assists and a lot of points available, but with Embiid playing, he sucked up a lot of those props. Trae Young looked great, but one thing about Trae Young, be careful with his overs. Danny Green was guarding Trae Young at the beginning of the game, and Trae Young just lit him up. And then Tybal and Ben Simmons got put on him, and they did a really good job, and he became more of a facilitator. And the 76ers were able to catch up. I would imagine they're going to scrap the Danny Green experiment on and Matt, I see you shaking your head. You already know what I'm talking about. The Philly fan.
Danny Green couldn't guard me. I promise you, he couldn't guard me.
I know. Poor Danny Green. And then we have the Bucks and the Nets, just an absolute thrashing. And I warned people about taking big name guys in the NBA playoffs and their overs. The books know what you want to do with the overs. They know you want to take Kevin Durant over. They know you want to take Kyrie Irving over and Giannis over. And what happened, believe it or not, Kevin Durant in that amazing game where he scored 32 points, his points prop was 32.5. The under hit on that game from Kevin Durant, the under came in. Giannis was one of my best bets last night. I played him under points, rebounds, and assists. I'm giving away one of my favorite plays. His under for points, rebounds, and assists is now 6-0 in the playoffs. He doesn't get it done in the playoffs, and he's not even getting close. And they're setting this number at 52.5. You have to have a lot go right to get 52.5. So just be very, very careful about big name guys and huge numbers, because if you get a blowout, if you get foul trouble, if you get an injury, any of those things can happen, and it can absolutely ruin the over for big name guys. I find the value in the kind of the lesser tier starters and maybe some of the bench guys that get big minutes on points, on rebounds, and the assists. So Let's do a little promotion stuff. And Matt, you are the $2 featured handicapper on sportsmemo.com. No pressure, but talk to us about what you got today.
Well, I mean, today was one of those days where I found a ton of K props I liked, and it was really deciding which one was going to be the $2 handicapper. And for those who want more of the K props, because I'm going really well on the K props this season, around 60%, I think. You can just get an all access day pass or an all access couple of day pass, and you'll get the rest of them. But there is one that ended up making it above, and so that's the $2. And look, even if you're not necessarily a guy who bets K props a lot, $2 it's worth a look, and $3 is guaranteed. So certainly go on over to sportsmemo.com, pick up the $2. Even if you don't like it, it's only $2. That just prevents you from spending money towards another awful boxing pay-per-view match. So come on over to Sports Memo and check it out.
I don't know about you guys, but I watched that for my guy Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco. I didn't even watch that for the other guys. I watched that for Ocho Cinco, and he put on a good show.
I think he sold a shocking amount. I think if you got the percentage, there'd be a surprising higher percentage of people that got it because of Chad Johnson, not because of the other one. So yeah, $2 Tuesday. It's a great chance to experiment with a handicapper that you haven't had before. It's a good chance to see their write-ups, how their mindset works, if they have a pick that you like. And a day pass is a great way to go. With Matt and his K props. He's been really good. I got 72 and 48 and 1 for your K prop, so you can't beat that. Andrew, talk to us about what you got. 5% play. Does the streak continue? Talk to us about what you got in MLB tonight.
Yeah, Andy, you say no pressure for Matt, but I don't know. $2 Tuesday. It's bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, runners on. No pressure, Matt. But best of luck to Matt. $2 Tuesday today over at Sports Memo. I do have my 5% MLB looking to make it 9 straight. Talk about pressure. Hoping on never losing a 5% MLB this season, but it's not going to be like that all year long, I don't think. But looking to keep it going. Love the side play tonight. 40% bankroll gain. This is my first time ever, guys, the way it worked out because of rescheduling and the way the tennis works and change. I actually have 2 5% plays in one day. I have one tennis play going on right now as we speak on this video. And I have my 5% MLB play later. So as I've been telling people, especially with these 5% plays, just like you guys were just talking about, grab a day pass. It's 4 days or $4 more than the 5% pick costs. And you can get everything that I'm in action on as far as props go, sides, totals, everything. So really excited about that 5% tonight, guys.
Good luck on that. I am Andy at WagerTalk.com. We're really trying to push the emphasis on long-term success. So I've got a promo code LANG999 that gets you 12 months for all plays for $999. It's basically half price. And if you do the math, it's just over 2 months worth of daily plays. So you're basically getting 2 months worth of plays. You're paying for 2 months of plays, but you're getting 12. And if you just follow a couple of my sports, that pays for itself over and over and over again. We're over 100 units in golf, so it doesn't take many of those successful sports to pay for that. And it just emphasizes long-term success. Stick with me for a year. One day anything can happen, but over a year the results speak for themselves. So promo code LANG999 gets you 12 months worth of plays for $999. Let's do best bets. Let's give the people what they came here for. Start with you, Matt. You like a hitter to get over his base prop, correct?
Yeah, every day on Twitter at noon, I put out a notable MLB histories tweet, which basically is how the best players against certain pitchers. It's not one of these things where like, hey, this guy's 3 for 5 against somebody. It's a pretty healthy history for a lot of these guys. And today, if you do DFS or if your book has total bases or if it has home runs or if it has hits, however, take advantage of Jesse Winker. So for the numbers for Jesse Winker, he is 8 of 13 with 5 homers against Adrian Hauser in his career for Milwaukee. This season, last month, the 2 teams faced off in Milwaukee, and Hauser pitched. He lasted only 4 innings. In that span, Winker had 2 homers and a single. And so this is one of those things where every single metric you look at for Winker, he's really good. He's hitting 364 the last 7 days, 379 against right-handers, 341 at home, 348 in night games. Jesse Winker's a guy that you want to put in your DFS lineups. And look, you can either go total bases. Some books include walks, some do not. You could go hits. I think you could go homers if you want to sprinkle a little bit there, but somehow today you want to put some money down on Jesse Winker, who has an insane history against Adrian Hauser.
Great stuff. Love the matchup when you get a really, really hot hitter that just hits off of a certain pitcher. A lot of value there. Andrew, let's go to you. This one is interesting. You have Nathan McKinnon to score a goal. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, best bet today, going with the goal scorer. Look, I always am Mr. Depth. It's pretty much all I talk about on any show I'm on as far as sports goes, but I really think that's the key for playoff hockey. Unfortunately, that's kind of gone down the drain for the Colorado Avalanche. We haven't really seen any scoring come from their third or fourth lines. It's been a lot of their top guys. Nathan McKinnon, it seems like when he scores, the team wins. When he doesn't, the games are a little bit different for the Avalanche. So it's a plus 135, 140 price, but it's like that for a reason. You know, this guy carries the team. He carries the pace. He's definitely has that green light, as they say in basketball, to shoot as many times as you want. I would definitely take a look at some shot props as well for McKinnon. But, you know, the series is tied 2-2. And I always say that the series is never over until you lose at home. So, you know, the series shifts back to Colorado. I expect the Avalanche to bounce back here. And a lot of harsh words coming out of the locker room from the coaches from the Avalanche. So usually when that happens, the best players step up. Give me McKinnon to score a goal tonight.
Well, it's interesting you said that because I actually did a video talking about how there was value in Nathan McKinnon to not have a point today at 2-1, just because he hasn't had a point in his last two games. And I've heard Carmine Bianco talk about how Vegas is playing him a little bit different. They're trying to jam him before he gets to the blue line. So that'll be interesting. Actually, what'll probably happen is he'll have an assist. Yeah, head to head. Well, he'll have one assist, and then we'll both lose. That'll be interesting to see how the home game for Colorado goes tonight and how McKinnon does. Because yeah, you're right. They've been anemic the last two games. So will they get back on track, or has Vegas figured out something? For my best bet tonight, I'm going to go to the NBA. I will take Clint Capella, the Atlanta Hawks, to go under his rebound total. It's at 12.5. I almost played him over because I did not expect much from Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid went out there and was an absolute monster. He only had 10 rebounds in the first game against Philadelphia, and if Embiid's going to play 35 to 38 minutes, it's going to be tough for Capella to get over this number. The other issue that you have here with Clint Capella is Joel Embiid shot 15 free throws. He was getting fouled a lot, and Clint Capella had 5 of those fouls. And foul trouble can be an over's worst nightmare. So if Clint Capella gets 2 quick fouls, you could see him sit. And once those minutes go down, the rebounding opportunities are lost. So I think Capella has a lot going against him to get over this rebound total. I think 12.5 is a little inflated. And the reason you're getting that is because of last series where he had 15, 15, 12, 12, and 13. This is a different team. I always say in the NBA playoffs, a new series is like a whole new season. You have to look at the matchups. So I think the books have missed on this one. I'll take under 12.5 rebounds. So, all right, good luck, everyone. Let's cash those tickets. Don't forget to go get Matt Joseph's $2 play at sportsmemo.com. Thank you to Andrew McInnis. He's at WagerTalk. He's got his 5% MLB streak alive and going tonight. I'm Andy Lang. I'm at WagerTalk.com. All my plays and props are ready to go tonight. Good luck. Let's cash those tickets. We'll see you guys next week.